Is there any other fight on this card that you want to go over?
Oh man, so there are some sneaky good ones here. If we can go over, we have to go long on them. Marion Reneau is fighting Macy Chiasson. That will be a really good one at women's 135. Chiasson, really good striker who I would expect to kind of take over here. Just stop me if I hit anything, right?
Okay.
Stop me if I hit anything good. Buddy, I'm pretty sure this card has, there it is. Michael Johnson versus Clay Guida's on this card.
Ooh,
that's a good dudes who are over the hill fight. Johnson maybe less so, but maybe not, right?
Johnson can crack.
Boy. But who can get cracked better than Clay Guida?
Yeah.
It's a fun-ass fight. It's one of those fights I almost can't believe has happened before. Jesse, there's a fight we very clearly have to talk about on this card, which is there's actually a lot of really good fights on this card, Jesse. Holy shit. Diego Ferreira is fighting Beneil Dariush this weekend. I thought that was on the pay-per-view.
That's a great fight.
That's top 10 in the world versus like top 12 in the world in Beneil Dariush. Two of the best jiu-jitsu black belts on the planet in MMA, right? At, this weight class, you're not going to get better submission guys pretty much than these two. Charles Oliveira class, right there with them. And these are guys who put together savage winning streaks in one of the toughest divisions in the world. Do you remember what fucking Diego Ferreira did in his last fight to Anthony Pettis? When he ran through him in 3 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
It made him look like he tapped him with a really good choke. He didn't even have the back hooks. He didn't have the legs in like he needed. He finished a bullshit choke and almost put Pettis to sleep. That's one of my most, that should have been the main event almost. Holy shit, that's a good fight. Jesse, I'm hearing a lot of great stuff out of this Manel Kape guy fighting Alejandro Pantoja at 125. In fact, I heard somebody say this guy could be the guy at 125. Somebody who I respect a lot. Yeah, coming out of Africa, looking like a real tough kid, 15-4. I don't know if it's his UFC debut. It is not his UFC. It is his UFC debut. And in his last 3 fights, he's had 3 knockouts, all with punches, including his last one was over Kai Asakura in Ryzen. And his one before that was over Takaya Mizugaki, who you know.
Hey, Google, stop. Sorry, my alarm was on.
This guy's knocking out Mizugaki. This guy's knocking out Kai Asakura, who's a title contender in 1 right now. This guy's got power. This guy can fight. This guy's, I
love when there's those hidden gems in the UFC because you can get lost in the shuffle. But what about his opponent?
Sorry about that. His opponent, Alejandro Pantoja, is a violent, if not kind of up and down 125-pounder. Great test. Came in, he has a win over Brandon Moreno, who just fought for the title. That should tell you the level that we're talking about Pantoja. He's a top 10 guy. He has wins over Wilson Hayes, who was a really big one, where he picked up the win. He strikes well. He uses his knees and his elbows well. He comes from a clinch Thai boxing background. These two, if they're going to have a striking battle, we could see something really great here at 125. Or it almost has vibes to me of when Thomas Almeida and Cody Garbrandt fought.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it was like, man, we got this really good Brazilian striker kid. Let's get him over. But then the other guy comes in with strong hands. So I'm really, really interested at this 125-pound fight.
I read that you said the fight wasn't going to last. I could see that. I could see it being a very short fight based on both past experiences on fighters. I knew about Pantoja, but I didn't know about the other guy. So I look forward to seeing it.
For sure. We could talk about Cody Stamann versus Oscar. Oscar, tough fight, but Oscar is a really late replacement, so it's almost like not fair. Cody is, like we talked about earlier, when one guy has all the time to prepare and the other guy doesn't, there's a big fucking advantage. And I think Oscar is coming up from 125, actually. And I think he's taking the fight late notice up a weight class. So I would like Corey in that fight, although Oscar is very talented. He's very talented.
Sounds good. I think it's going to be one of those sleeper UFC cards. You get those.
Bro, it is. This is a good-ass card. Jesse, this is a good-ass card. I could talk about Danilo Marquez and Mike Rodriguez at 205. I could talk about Timur Valiev here at 145. This is a good-ass card, dude. This is where the fuck was this on the Conor undercard? Ferreira and Dariush couldn't be moved up 2 weeks? They couldn't be moved up 2 weeks? I had to fucking watch middleweights who were both like a combined 1-11 in the UFC have an ugly fucking brawl, throwing left hooks, from fucking behind their ass cheeks and shit? No, give me this violence. This is what I want to see. This is good.
All right, 1 to 10, right? 1 to 10. We're gonna go through those. Some of the
I'm at a full 7 inches. I'm at a full 7 inches right now. I'm not even 7 inches. It's amazing.
So Hape versus Pantoja, 1 to 10. How badly do we need to see this?
Oh man, so like we need to put. So what's like 10? Give me an example of a 10. Is 10 like Spence Crawford or
Spence.
like, you know? Okay, so it's like a big fight.
Yeah.
Okay, if I'm gonna call the main event of this.
No, you know what I think about Joanna versus Young Whaley, like a fight of the year candidate, because this isn't like a name fight. This is one of those fights you want to watch because it's aesthetically pleasing. Now, because it's a big name. So we're gonna say Joanna versus Young Whaley.
Let me put it to you this way. This is my 4th most anticipated fight on the card. Only after the main event and the co-main event, where I want to see if these two dudes who I've been watching for decades retire, and like, or if they're going to get these amazing last, end of the run title shots. There's story behind it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see Ferreira versus Dariush because of the weight class and because of the violence that those dudes bring every single time. And then right after that, and I'm not talking far after, right after that is these two dudes, Cape and Pantoja at 125. And to give you an idea how much I like that, fucking Clay Guida and Michael Johnson are probably going to beat the fuck out of each other in a barroom brawl that's just wild slop.
Man, that's going to be like a highlight reel type fight.
Clay some ugliness to that.
Any other way?
How could it possibly end any other way? Maybe he just holds Michael Johnson down. Michael Johnson has had porous takedown defense over time. It's what held back his UFC run, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. His ceiling was world champion, right? Like he could have been at that level.
But could it have been if your grappling's that bad?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is your ceiling world champion?
Well, didn't he become a wrestler?
Say again?
Wasn't he like some type of wrestler when he came in?
I mean, you see what the skills are. You know what I mean? The background is one thing, but we can see what's happening. Man, I always love like watching Michael Johnson fight because you would see flashes of somebody who was much better than that. But it was like somebody who would be a champion. He would have been really good challenging like Pat Miletich for the title. You know what I mean? Like if he was around in like, no, seriously, like the Cal Uno days, he would have like, probably hung better with that like early UFC, like Eve Edwards, Josh Thompson kind of run. But against these guys at 155, man, it's rough ins, rough outs if you don't have the grappling.
Yeah. Things evolve. You could say that with a lot of guys.
Things evolve, and I feel like he always thought like I have the power, so that's going to be enough. But man, he's almost a 500 guy. Say again. When
you're knocking out Dustin Poirier and you rock Khabib, you lose, but you lose impressively against the pound for pound best fighter in the world. We
didn't know that at the time, though. We didn't know that. And for a long time, people pointed to him as like, oh, but Michael hurt him. You know what I mean? That was always like, well, he hasn't lost a round, but we saw him get pretty hurt against Michael Johnson, and we saw him lose the Khabib fight. No, just kidding.
He's a chop. Everyone always the fact that Chop rocked Floyd. They were like, he rocked Floyd though.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how I'm feeling about this card. I'm feeling positive, giving me some good stuff here, which is nice coming off of a drought to get something that's nice little succulent treat for the lips and tongue.
All right. Well, that's it for this week. We have great cards coming up next week. I kind of consider this week like the appetizer, but the beginning of the real boxing calendar and the real MMA calendar is actually next week. So tune in next week. We have a lot of great stuff to break down. We're going to get a lot of great news because whenever these press conferences come out, things pop up. So join us next week and enjoy this fight-filled card. It's going to be fantastic. Anything else for you, Joe? Anything you want to promote?
No, man. Follow me on Twitter, Joe Fanatics. I'm trying to get that moving. So follow me on Twitter there.
And like and subscribe our page. Like and subscribe us here on Facebook. On YouTube. Add us on our Facebook page at The Fighter's Block. And follow me on social media, J Rivas Comedy on Instagram and J Rivas on Facebook.
I love it. We'll see everybody here next week.
Peace out.